Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, to the World of Wrestling podcast. Here today to discuss about the WWE Summerslam 2026 Night 1 review. My thoughts on the show. The show is pretty average. I give them a little bit of credit at the fact that we actually got full-fledged matches that went at least 10 to 15 minutes or more, which I can appreciate. The commercials came in between, generally when we would normally get the promo videos of what occurred and what happened to cause these two counterparts to go at it over the lead up towards the match. So that kind of sucks. I think the only way you got to see any of that content was on the pre-show, which I'm not going to sit through a pre-show just to watch promo videos when they should be right before the match even starts. But I did enjoy some of the matches on this card. I think the WWE Championship match was good. I think Cody Rhodes and CM Punk crushed it. I think the match was alright. Randy Orton coming out of nowhere was definitely a surprise. I kind of dislike the idea of so many moves being used that are finishers not being finished. It was more of like they just kicked out multiple times. I get that they're trying to show that it's going to take a lot more than just one finisher to end a match, and that they're determined to win, but when you see it happen so often, it kind of gets old. If you saw it seldomly, and you didn't see it consistently all the time, I think I wouldn't feel that way. But yeah, CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, I give it a 4 out of 5 stars. That was a good match. The Women's Championship match, the Women's World Championship with Liv Morgan, Io Sky, definitely a surpriser. And Liv Morgan won pretty much clean. I mean, there was some outside interference in the beginning, but after Io Sky fought them off and did that moonsault off the top rope onto the floor where they were at, the match became just a one-on-one match, and Liv Morgan won clean. I was very surprised by this, that Io Sky ended up losing this matchup. A little disappointed in that, but regardless of all that, it still was not a bad match. Very entertaining. I give this a 3.5 out of 5 stars. Very, very good work by both of these ladies. I do believe Io Sky will eventually win the title before we get to Crown Jewels, so that Rhea Ripley ends up facing Io Sky. So I don't think this match between these two are over. I think there will be a third match, God help us. But yes, the third match should be where Io Sky ends up winning the Women's World Championship from Liv Morgan, and we move on from this to Crown Jewel with Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. Rhea Ripley getting her first win over Io Sky in all the history that they've wrestled each other. But yeah, good match. Surprising ending. I was very surprised that Io lost here, but hey, it is what it is. Next, we had the 6-man tag team match. This was another shocker. Couldn't believe this shit. The Bloodline ended up losing to LA Knight, Solo Sikoa, and Royce Keys. This was a fun little 6-man tag team match. Definitely a lot better than what they did with the Vision and iShow's Speed match. Wasn't really too keen on that one. I thought that kind of sucked. This one was a hell of a lot better and a lot more entertaining. I'd give it a 3 out of 5 stars. I think it was pretty average, but I mean, it wasn't bad. For a 6-man tag team match, grudge between 3 guys that aren't even friends but work together to fight a common enemy, such as the Bloodline. I thought it was a fun little matchup they threw together, so I give them a lot of kudos on that. Following that, there's a match that slipped my mind, but I will solve that problem right now. But, yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't think that this show was terrible by any means, but it wasn't the best. Definitely a lot better than WrestleMania this year. Shit, WrestleMania this year was terrible. Anyway, we had Gunther and Nick Aldis. This was a good matchup. I'd say this is a 3.5 out of 5 stars. I think Nick Aldis did okay in a matchup that he hasn't wrestled since like 2000, before COVID. I think he stopped wrestling before right after COVID, I believe. I'm not sure on that one, but yeah, Nick Aldis, first match back in like 6 years or so, I'd say. And he had a good match with Gunther. I mean, I would admit Nick Aldis looked like he had low stamina in this matchup. He was kind of breathing heavy a little bit, but he managed to pull through, and he did a good job working with Gunther in this match. He just had to have moments in the match where he kind of paused for a second to get a second wind and then move forward through the matchup, and that was pretty much what happened here. I think the match was fine. I think it was a good, entertaining matchup between these two. It was really good competition between these guys. I really didn't have any issues with this matchup at all. I think Gunther, when he's highlighted on a pay-per-view event, he's still having good matches, but his build after John Cena has been absolutely terrible. I don't see him as this outrageous heel that they were trying to make him out to be after he beat John Cena, which I knew that was not going to happen to me. That was I think, WWE's version of the finger poke of death, honestly. Because since then, they've gotten progressively worse. And this show, I guess you could say, was a little bit better than what we've seen the last couple of months since 2026 has started. But let's be real, WWE has not been that good. It's been pretty bad. Fatal Influence, JC Jane, Laney Reed, and Fallon Henley defeated the Bella Twins and Paige in a 6-woman tag team match. This match was whatever. It's just a bunch of ladies working. Fatal Influence getting the W here over the Forma Divas. Because let's be real, the Bella Twins and Paige are from the Divas era in women's wrestling. I mean, Paige kind of was like a transition between Divas and the Women's Revolution wrestling. So I give her and AJ Lee a lot of credit for building that up and creating that aura of the Women's Revolution in wrestling. So they are kind of contributors to that, most definitely. And I got to give them a lot of credit for what they did. Fortunately, they were in the post era of the Divas. So they're technically still part of that era, even though they really did start up the revolution of women's wrestling, along with Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, and the 4 horsewomen back then in NXT. Then we had the World Championship, WWE World Championship with CM Punk, and from SmackDown, that is, with Cody and CM Punk. Again, as I already mentioned, this was a 4 out of 5 stars. Very entertaining match. This match actually was the longest. It was 30 minutes long. And then the main event was Obafemi and Brock Lesnar. This match went a little over 10 minutes. This is a Hell in a Cell match, and you're going a little over 10 minutes. We couldn't go 20 or 25 minutes. 11 minutes. 11 minutes. That's what we got. 11 fucking minutes. They called this Hell in the Cell. I honestly, they didn't even come close to CM Punk and Drew McIntyre's Hell in a Cell match. Not even close. The ending was absolutely horrendous. Not saying that the match was at all bad in any way. I think it was a little too short for my liking for a Hell in a Cell match. But it was a good match. It's just the way it ended seems so oddball the way they ended it. Brock Lesnar hit a series of 3 different F5s. Obafemi kicked out of all of that. He didn't do it like pin him each time. It just hit him 3 consecutive times of the F5 and then he kicked out. I believe he hit an F5 before that as well, which I think he did round up to a total of 5 F5s, which is kind of crazy. And he ended up going ahead and pulling the mat apart and exposing the wood that's underneath the padding. He tombstone pile drives him and imitates The Undertaker. I thought that was a nice little spot. And Obafemi kicked out. I kind of wish they wouldn't have done this. The tombstone pile driver having Obafemi kick out, because let's be honest, it is kind of funny though that they did that spot, because before the match even happened, they had a little advertisement video of Chad Gable and I'm trying to remember who were Javon Evans. And they were playing WWE 2K26 where they had Obafemi versus The Undertaker inside Hell in a Cell. Now that, if Undertaker wasn't at the age he's at right now and he could come back and wrestle, that's a match I'd love to see. I think that match would have been entertaining to see. See Obafemi being the guy to dethrone The Undertaker's undefeated streak, I think that would have been the perfect person to go with. Especially him being a younger guy, but Undertaker's so far out of it and his streak was already destroyed by Brock Lesnar that, it is what it is. But yeah, so he kicks out of the tombstone pile driver off of the fucking wood underneath the padding. And then Oba gets up, they work their way to the ending of the match, the end spot of the match. He does a fall from grace power bomb to Brock Lesnar, and he doesn't power bomb him on the wood. He power bombs him on the mat with the padding and pins him 1, 2, 3. Now, if I was Obafemi, I would want to put Brock Lesnar through that exposed wood, which would make it even more believable for Brock Lesnar not to kick out. For him to get powerbombed on the proper padding of the ring and lose looks silly to me. But that's just my opinion and my perspective on the whole ending of the match. Some people could debate me on this, and I'll give you all the credit in the world because I was thinking about this. They probably didn't want to do that because of Brock Lesnar's age and, it was his retirement match. They probably didn't want to end him in a way of, possibly injuring him in his last match. They just wanted him to go home, with the soreness of the match itself, but not go home with some sort of injury or a concussion to end his career. So they were trying to avoid from doing that. But still, come on. If you're going to expose the wood and your opponent puts you through that wood and you manage to kick out, wouldn't you want to put him through that same exact spot and finish him there? It just, to me, it looks so silly. It really did. The match wasn't terrible. I give it a 3.5 out of 5 stars, but most of these matches were just average. one match was absolutely terrible. That was the 6 women's tag team match. That was a 2 out of 5 stars. But everything else on this card was either average or, like Cody and CM Punk, pretty damn good. So it wasn't a bad show for night one. I thought it was okay. I thought it hit the right spot. I think it did what it needed to do. And it wasn't bad to sit through. I think it was fine. But in all honesty, after all these weeks leading up to this, was this like super great? No, it wasn't. It just was passable in my opinion. I don't think that this was anything special. I think if you are not a die-hard wrestling WWE fan, you really didn't miss anything. If you're an average fan or you're a fan of just pro wrestling in general and you have other avenues of watching wrestling where WWE isn't just it for you, you're not needing to watch this. This is not worth your fucking time, honestly. This is not groundbreaking shit. It's just normal stuff. It's not anything special. So, in all honesty, it was average C. Maybe C plus possibly if you want to be generous, but was it something that you can go back and say, oh God, it was so fucking amazing. It was like watching SummerSlam 1998 or fucking SummerSlam of 2002. There was so many great matches on SummerSlam 2002. SummerSlam 2005, that was another great SummerSlam. Shit, I mean, SummerSlam 2015 was better than this shit. Really, I'm not joking. There was some really good matches on that. And that was a little over 10 years ago. 2016 SummerSlam sucked. 17 sucked. 18 sucked. I mean, 17 was okay. 18, absolutely terrible. That was a fucking joke. 2019 sucked. Nothing special happened there. Nothing memorable. The only thing I remember is the main event with Brock and Seth Rollins for the Universal Championship. And Brock didn't even have the title but for maybe a couple of weeks. He had it for like 3 weeks. So, I don't know, man. But SummerSlam the last several years has not been all that great. I think 2023 SummerSlam was fairly decent. I think. Some people might debate me on that, but that's fine and dandy. You have a right to. 2021, nothing special there. 2020 was during COVID's time frame, so that wasn't all that great either. SummerSlam has not been all that great. I think the last decent SummerSlam was 2015, in my opinion. The rest of them are just passable or nobody gives a shit. Honestly. But, yeah, that's my viewpoint on SummerSlam of this year's Night 1. So, let me know what you thought about the show in the comments down below. I'll definitely get back to you on that. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this video, and hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to the channel. Thank you guys very much for watching, and have a great night, guys. Bye.